start doing it. Who are these people? I mean, who the fuck are you? Go down. Go down. This is Willie. I'm Skylar. This is us before the show. This is Willie after the show.
Hey, Wendy. Good afternoon. My internet seems slow as shit right now. Mm-mm. Hey guys, what's up? Uh, a busy day. You're back at the office after almost a week off, so a bunch of just catching up to do. Yeah, just trying to get back in the groove and get prepared for tomorrow. I'll be out the office all day tomorrow at a workforce development event. Checking my memes and shit. Got a bunch of memes here. Let's see. What's those? Mm-hmm. Yo, my shit won't fucking play. My internet is buffering hard as hell right now.
And here we have more.
All my niggas, listen to this.
Hello, good afternoon. What happened? How are you?
Sir, I'm looking for a Mr. Poppy, sir.
Yeah, that's me. What you want?
This is Officer Hernandez of the U.S. Army, sir.
Oh, man. Oh, my God. Okay, what is
Yeah,
it?
our country is at war, sir, with Iran, and we just came to draft him for the
Oh,
war.
that's not my problem. Okay, have you
So,
got
excuse me, sir.
Yeah,
Sir,
what's
your
up?
country
What's
is
up?
in need of your help, sir.
No, my country is Dominican Republic. I'm sorry.
Sir, you need to understand.
What?
We
What?
need to come
What?
to war now.
No, I don't do the work. Okay, listen, I cannot go because I have the plátano sancochado over there. It's gonna quemarse. It's gonna burn if I don't
No,
go.
sir, you need to
It's
understand.
cooking. It's gonna burn the house down. Boom, and then that's the problem.
If you don't come, you're going to get deported to your
My
country.
friend, listen, I don't care. They called me, that's the free flight to my country. I have to go over there anyways to feed my chicken and my donkey, okay?
Free flight.
Yeah, and then if you're gonna deport me, send me JetBlue because they give you the cookie. Okay, I cannot go fight it because somebody else did the debut.
Sir, you're
I
about to get
cannot go.
deported, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna deport myself. I leave.
What?
What's the number? 100 immigration. I leave. I go. 100 deportation. I go. Call me there.
Ain't nobody trying to fight with this shit. You got a well-deserved award for sinners. Yeah, but then I just literally the first thing I saw when I was on Facebook just now. So my buddy posted this right here. Jason Wilcock calls Michael B. Jordan a black who won DEI Oscars over Sinners win. It's like, and then he said, right on cue, I told you there's always a paid coon willing to throw us under the bus. Yeah, Michael B. Jordan acted so well in that film, as he always does. He's just a really good actor and did an excellent job playing two characters. And then this motherfucker talking about, oh, he just won an Oscar for DEI. Get the fuck out of here, bro. You hating bad as shit. You mad you never won a fucking Oscar, bro. Go sit your ugly ass down, mean motherfucker. Just mad. Michael B. Jordan only won because of DEI. Shut the fuck up. It be your own folks trying to pull you down. Your own folks talking shit about you. And on top of that, you's a bitch. Damn, still got more memes.
She can't stand up a coupe. She can't.
Screw made up, got one of my rooms all filled with gold. I done bought 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 carrying stones. Cash on the California cash, can't wait to go dress my home. Smash how you itty bitty rappers in a minute after short prolong.
All right, I think that's all my memes. We're good to go. All right. Yeah, Michael B. Jordan, he does shit, man.
This orange. Well, looks like that. That's pretty much it for reds. So we'll have to make do with what we got here. Not a bad selection. But some cans are not full. This is kind of this is Cherry Blossom. This is kind of a translucent color. But yeah, let's shake them up.
Shake them up, shake them up, shake them up, shake them.
Let's see. Chilling another day, another market. Yeah, getting some artwork done. Hey, Kate, welcome. Welcome, Kate. So I do have 4 other canvases already ready. You know, got this blue one, this yellow one. This one was red, but it's got gray on it. This one kind of has like a purpley pinkish color, but was green and orange and bluish. So.
Yo, what's good, guys? Boozy, what a dozy.
We're gonna have to sketch up some more
The OG of the
lines to put on there. There we go. Tacky tack.
Black is really wet still. I gotta
Tacky tack.
very sure
tack.
to avoid that.
There's some areas where, oh shoot. Yeah, the cold weather. If there wasn't enough tack put down, the cold weather was kind of messing with this. Come on, you. Let's do it up.
Try to avoid that black a little bit. I do want to saturate it before I get started.
Also getting tack on the areas we don't want tack placed down on. Kate, you're at 30 subs. Nice. Hey, Trap House. 1981, our friend Trav. He's over on his channel right now, working away at his current oil painting. So if anybody's interested in seeing some oil painting and not me standing around waiting for TAC.
Don't send them over my way.
And go check out Trap House 1981. Hey, Oscar. Welcome, Oscar Diaz. Thank you for the hearts. Hope you're doing well. Nice. All you need, 20 more, Kate.
He said, you know what, man?
20 more subs.
Go to the next channel. We can have our own network, though. Just get a few artists, everybody get a channel.
Let's figure
You
this.
can flip through our channels all afternoon, all evening. All right, I think that's wet enough. So I got about this much covered. Didn't touch the ear or the neck because not sure if we're going to even make it down there. Not sure if we're going to make it that far, but I'm going to start around the eye, work our way around the eye and see how far we can get in about an hour or so this afternoon. Over the last few days off, we've been getting a lot done, a lot accomplished. I'm really happy with the progress on this piece so far. So just going to try to keep at it. Still got my paint selection laid out, so I know exactly which colors I was using.
Let's figure this red to
I'm knocking the fucking cameras around.
let's figure this.
So I'm putting a little sienna on here, and I'm gonna put a little bit more orange on my palette right before we get started.
Let's figure this red to
I don't know if that's me buffering or him. My
figure
internet
this
is not great. This
red
afternoon.
situation.
It might be me. Honestly.
Figure this red situation.
And it's looping. It's on that loop right there. Figure this red situation. Figure this red situation. It's stuck for me. Come on, internet. Act right for me, internet. No, it's not letting me go back. Son of a gun.
Depop has no selling fees.
Let me play another video. It won't let me watch the music. Mizu popped in for a second. Was good, broski. I was trying to watch the channel, man. This shit kept buffering on me. I don't know if it's on my end. I really think it's on my end. Because I got shitty internet.
All right. There's that. Again. Here's a true agency.
Hey, good afternoon, folks. How we doing? How we doing? How we doing?
All right.
Checking out my homie doing some spray paint, some abstract spray paint.
Just lightly dusting here. I know that one complicated. Number two are two red. This is gonna be quite the contrast.
Boy, face looking wrinkly, getting them old smile lines and shit in there now. You be smiling too much. you're just popping in the stream and wondering exactly what's going on, no, my paintbrush does not sound like a spray can. I'm actually watching somebody else spray paint some stuff. Just in case anybody was wondering why my paintbrush sounds like a spray can. Oh man.
Mm.
We are Stripe and Square, and we are literally robbing you. We take 3 to 4% of every single sale you make. For what? We don't even know. I am National Bank Card. I let you keep your hard-earned money with 0%. Welcome back, everybody, to Neutrality Studies. My name is Pascal Ota, and I'm joined today by my two wonderful colleagues, Yakov Rabkin and Jeffrey Sachs. Jeffrey, of course, in the United States, and Yakov in Canada, of the University of Montreal for Yakov, and Columbia University for Jeffrey. Both of you, welcome.
Great to be together with both of you.
And we are meeting today in order to kind of discuss a topic of common concern, which is the Zionism. And actually, Yakov is going to publish, or a book of his is going to be published in English very soon, called...
It's already published recently, Zionism Decoded in 101 quotes, in 101 quotes. And Yakov, you did a marvelous job in there to kind of show how Zionism has been a long-term project and how the Zionists and their different groups have been anything but secretive about it. Let's maybe start with you, like these quotes. What do you think are they telling us about Zionism? And then we ask Jeff to react to that.
Tried to show in the words of the founders and the words of the precursors of Zionism, that movement has been. And many people, I think particularly in North America, some disappointed with this struggle. So, well, it was such a wonderful socialist enterprise with equality, and all of a sudden it became right-wing and fascist, and how could it happen? It must be Bibi Netanyahu, it must be him. Well, my book shows that, in fact, the roots of this right-wing or right turn in Israeli political life has been clear practically for the whole history of Zionism. Because Zionism is a settler colonialist project. And again, it was very open about it. The first financial institution of the Zionist movement was called Jewish Colonial Trust. Well, you couldn't be more open about it. But a lot of people didn't want to see it. Problem with Israel, that the facts are all on the ground. You could see them, but people didn't want to see them because of all kinds of, I would say, very positive, pious tendencies. Well, Jews have suffered so much; they deserve a state. You know, all these things that I think precluded objective look at what Zionism is.
What do you think is important for this, like, appreciation of just the Zionist project as a long-term kind of ongoing, well, like thing that keeps actually creating a lot of problems for a lot of people?
Let me say that Yakov Rabkin is the leading and absolutely brilliant expositor and historian of this subject, so that everyone that's listening, you must read Yakov's work. the new book, but also a number of other books that explain absolutely clearly, and I would say uniquely clearly, the background of Zionism, how it emerged, what its ideological tendencies are, and why it has created such disasters in present day. And as we speak, one of the disasters is Israel's invasion of Lebanon again, and its destruction of Beirut in these hours that we're speaking. I think one of the most interesting points that Zionism is, it seems to me to have two kinds of strands. One is it is in a way a typical late 19th century nationalist movement. Europe became aflame in nationalism at the end of the 19th century. Every linguistic group, every ethnic group had to have its nation. This ended up tearing apart Europe, destroying multi-ethnic, multinational, multilingual empires across Europe, especially in World War I and in World War II. So that's one of the roots. And the other roots are biblical, and the biblical roots are Christian Zionism, which was the precursor of Jewish Zionism, as again Yaakov has explained, but is extremely important. Was a major meme of Western history that actually extends across centuries of settler colonialism is the idea of the new Israel, the new Jerusalem. And America was founded on that principle. The United States, before it was the United States, was British Puritan settlers who saw themselves as the new Israel. And the idea of conquering a new land in the name of God is a Western idea. Of course, it has similarities in other regions of the world, but it's a Christian Western idea. And Zionism is essentially a Christian Western idea as well. It's both nationalist and biblical. The Jews that started Zionism, as Yaakov explains, at the end of the 19th century were not reading the Bible the same way. They weren't even reading the Bible necessarily. They were nationalists. They were looking to overcome the absence of a physical state. They were looking to overcome anti-Semitism in Central Europe or in Russia, the Russian Empire. But it was the Christian Zionists that said there needs to be a nation because God promised that nation. And in a very, I won't use the term I was going to use, in a very particular strand of ideas from the 19th century called dispensationalism or premillennial dispensationalism, a construct arises. Again, I won't use language that could be harmful, or pejorative, but it's a very particular kind of set of ideas that entail the Jews returning to build the land so that the end times can come, and so that the second coming of Christ can appear in Armageddon, based on a reading of the book of Revelations and a new theology that emerged in Britain and the United States in the 19th century. Well, the only reason I mentioned that, and then I turn it back over to you, is we have these two Zionisms today. We have a Jewish Zionism and we have a Christian Zionism, and they're partners. You don't even know who's in the lead. The United States partnering with Israel is led right now by a group that is infused with the green Christian Zionism. The American ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, who is a Southern Baptist and by all evidence a premillennial dispensationalist, said a few weeks ago, just before the current war of aggression of Israel in the U.S., that Israel owns all the land, has the right to all the land from the Nile to the Euphrates, based on, I think, a theologically dubious, but his reading of Genesis chapter 15. And based on that, there's a sense that in our world today, Israel should the right to all of this land. Israel's acting on that because part of the Israeli government is Jewish biblical Zionism now, which was not the Zionism of 100 years ago. All in all, read Yaakov. He knows all of this better than I do. So I turn it back over to you.
Hey, very brief intermission because I was recently banned from YouTube. And although I'm back, this can happen anytime again. So please consider subscribing not only here, but to my mailing list on Substack. That's scalota.substack.com. The link's going to be in the description below. And now back to the video.
Yeah, I would like to add to what Jeff just said. That American troops that are engaged in the war against Iran, the same idea being propagated. The idea that they're bringing about the end of times, that Trump was anointed by Christ so that he can bring together all the exiles. I mean, all this rhetoric, and this is not only rhetoric, people honestly believe, because I saw the interview with the official American ambassador in Jerusalem, even though I have doubts which country he really represents, Israel or the United States. He said very clearly that for him, there's a right, biblical right, God-given right to occupy all the land. And I think that it's very dangerous that, in spite of the separation between church and state in the United States, federal troops are being indoctrinated in this way. But again, that's part of the general trend, as far as I can say, in American society these days.
And very important American commentators have been talking about this. Just today, there was an email sent out by the Prime Group Foundation in the U.S. that kind of monitors these religious strains inside the army. And Colonel Lawrence Wilkerson is a board member of that foundation, and he wrote again an email warning everybody how dangerous this is, because it's not only the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, who kind of represents the Christian Zionist strain. It goes all the way into the ranks of the army, and that is highly dangerous. Yaakov, since you've looked at Zionism for so long, these two strains, Jewish Zionism, Christian Zionism, which one of the two is actually bigger? And why is it that the Christian version is so also by now entrenched in these different branches of the U.S. government?
WordPress.com is professional WordPress hosting built to scale with no limits, slowdowns, or surprise fees. Plans start at just $2.75 a month with a free domain name for your first year. Your site loads fast.
quote Pastor Hagee, who is one of the leaders of Christian Zionists in the United States. And a few years ago, he said that there are 50 million Christian Zionists in the United States. There are 15 million Jews, being babies and old people like myself. And so you could see which group is bigger. And United States is not the only place where you have them. Christian Zionism is extremely well represented in Brazil, Guatemala, parts of Africa, and South Korea. So you have, it's a very important political religious movement, whereas Jewish Zionism is splitting Jews. And as you know, just the most recent example in the election of the new mayor of New York, who is overtly anti-Zionist and very critical of Israel, about 1/3 of the votes came from Jews. So you could see that some people said, well, in spite of that. No, I wouldn't say it's in spite, it's because of that, that he got those Jewish votes. So Jewish communities are very much divided. The more violence continues in West Asia, and Israel is the perpetrator and initiator of it. Today, you can't really deny it, even if you want to. Israel is losing Jewish support, to a certain degree, Christian Zionist support. And that may explain why Netanyahu was in such a rush to start a war. Please.
I was going to add, again, based on Yaakov's teaching to us, the origins of Jewish Zionism, which is the end of the 19th century and the early 20th century, main religious movements of Judaism in the United States and in Europe were generally against the Zionist idea. The Zionist leaders, most famously Herzl, were nationalist and secular, and they were propounding at that stage not a biblical cause, but a nationalist cause, that each nation, to protect itself, had to have its nation state. That was the idea of nationalism. Not that you are a nation living in, say, the Habsburg Empire or the Romanov Empire with the multi-ethnicity, but you needed your own state. And that was true whether you were Serbs or Croats or Czechs or Bulgarians or Slovaks and so forth. That was the Jewish Zionist strain. The rabbis said no. And I think it's absolutely fascinating for me. I grew up as a American Jew, but in the rabbinic style of Judaism, because basically my bar mitzvah and so forth, this was in standard rabbinic tradition, though not in my own case, in my community, in a very religious sense. But in the rabbinic teachings of Judaism for roughly almost 2,000 years or 1,900 years is live where you are, God's commandments, behave, don't make too much mess, and you don't go back to the Holy Land or the Promised Land. That's for the Messiah to determine. That's something you can remember in your prayers or your festivals during the year, but not something that was an actionable political agenda. And in the United States, we had several religious movements, a so-called reform movement, the least of the religious, to Orthodox Judaism, to something in between, the way that I was raised in conservative Judaism. But all of these strains, at one point or another in the early 20th century, said, no, this is not us. Israel or the Holy Land or whatever, we're Americans. And even when the Balfour Declaration was issued to create a Jewish homeland under the auspices of the British Empire, which didn't yet have control over the land that it was promising, the typical British maneuver. But in any event, even when that happened, there was one Jew in the cabinet who wrote, "I'm against this. I'm British. I'm not. This isn't my homeland. My homeland's British, and this is going to create a mess because I don't want to be called, a nationalist of some other country. My nation is British." And so the Zionist movement was not what it is portrayed today as the great cause of the Jewish people. Quite different from this.
If I may interrupt and add,
No, you definitely should.
Montague, who wrote this Jewish member of the part of the British cabinet, titled his letter protesting against the Balfour Declaration, accusation of the cabinet in anti-Semitism. He accused them of anti-Semitism
For being Zionist.
for being Zionist, because this is something which today appears as an oxymoron. It isn't, because even Herzl wrote in his diary that anti-Semites will be our best friends and allies. And again, if you look at it passionately, if I may say so, anti-Semites want to get rid of the Jews wherever they happen to live, and Zionists want to bring them to Palestine. Their interests combined. It's not coincidence that, say, during the 1930s in Germany, Zionists established very much a sort of cooperation with the Nazi authorities who wanted to get rid of the Jews, and the Zionists were trying to show that Palestine is a good place for Jews to go. So we have a lot of evidence, and my book doesn't have illustrations, but there was an episode which I think is very important as an Israeli film called The Flat. It shows, the story is about an SS official in 34, 35 in Palestine in the company of the chairman of the Zionist Federation of Germany, and writing wonderful articles in the SS newspaper. And on the occasion of that visit, medal was coined, swastika on one side and the Zionist symbol of the six-shaped star on the other. So it's part of history. And today, when it's very interesting, a colleague of mine has observed, if 100 years ago said to a Jew, you don't belong here, you belong to Israel, considered anti-Semite. Today, for some strange reason, when someone says, well, I have nothing to do with Israel, I'm American. Oh, no, you're anti-Semitic, you're denying the right of Jewish people to self-determination. You have a very interesting inversion of what anti-Semitism is, and I think, incidentally, it's very dangerous.
The camouflage, and just as, if I could add, with Montague in this very amazing letter that he wrote, just to say, I had the same absolutely gut bullshit when Israel revised its basic law in 2018 and declared that Israel is the nation state of the Jewish people. And my reaction was, how dare you? How dare you say this? You're the citizen of Israel, and you are not my country. I'm a citizen. the presumptuousness of it was felt by Jews, and it was actually the original reaction. I think it's becoming the main or a very prominent reaction again today.
Well, the danger of it, as you could see, are episodes which unfortunately are more and more numerous of attacks on Jews and Jewish institutions because of what Israel is doing. Of course, some Jewish Zionists contribute to that. They put up Israeli flags in front of their synagogues or in front of their Jewish institutions. They say, we stand by Israel. Well, in this case, you can expect this kind of reaction, not that anyone should condone them, but a lot of people appalled by what Israel has been doing don't find a more acceptable way of protesting than this violent way of, we just saw recently in Michigan, in the very violent culture, if I may say so, of American society.
Save time creating content and generate a high-quality clone of your voice with 11 Labs. Change the way you record podcasts, voiceovers, and branded content with the #1 AI-powered voice generating technology. Stop searching for the perfect voice and stop wasting time re-recording take after take. Try 11 Labs for free and start elevating your content today.
A bunch of real Opus Clip customers to send us videos about what they think of Opus Clip, and the #1 thing we found out, people love the AI editor.
May I just ask, because the intention is also maybe in the last 15 minutes to also talk a little bit about the trajectory of Zionism and where you too see this movement or these movements. It's more than one, it's at least two strains, right? And I know, Yaakov, you also differentiate within Israel other strains that are non-Zionist, but if you look at these two strains, where you think they're going, and maybe Jeff first, you know, there's a lot of talk, and John Mearsheimer, of course, wrote this very important book about the Jewish lobby, right, and about AIPAC.
Oh,
No, sorry,
Israel.
Huh?
Israel.
The Israel lobby. So the thing is, like, if we differentiate between these two strains of Zionism and between the people lobbying for Israel, I mean, who is actually lobbying for Israel? Who is the lobby? Is it the Christian Zionists foremost, the Jewish Zionists? Is it the Israelite, like, nationalists? What do you see, and where do you see it going? First Jeff, and then Yaakov.
I think it's,
Oh, sorry.
okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say American politics should be understood as interest group politics, and American politics it has created a methods of state capture. So the American political system is spend a lot of money and you get to set the policies in your sector. It's an incredibly corrupted system. If somebody, and let's hope they will be, writes political science textbooks of the 22nd century, just like we read as school kids about the rotten boroughs of Britain, and you shake your head, and how could you have a parliament that was owned essentially by one landlord or one aristocrat or so forth. We have a very corrupt political system, legalized corruption in its way, big money, big influence. And so you ask, well, what is this Israel lobby or the Zionist lobby? It is actually a mix of a number of things. Partly, it's directly the penetration of Israel into U.S. politics, because there's a lot of Israeli money and effort. I'm convinced that Epstein was a Mossad agent, for example, and was definitely an Israeli asset operating in the United States. Okay, there still are doubts about that, but I don't have many of them. I think that this was pretty clearly somebody being used by Israel. And the evidence for that, by the way, is only the circumstantial evidence that Ehud Barak, who had been the head of military intelligence, was his big buddy. But the fact that Epstein was representing himself all over the world as making deals on behalf of Israel, and if he was freelancing, the Israelis would have stopped him, believe me. They didn't stop him. So the fact is he was operating at someone's behest. Okay, that's an example of direct Israel influence. Then there's big Jewish money, and there definitely are Jews that are Zionists, and there definitely are billionaire Jews that are Zionists, and they put a lot of money into this. Just like there are a lot of us who are not billionaire Jews who are not Zionists, and especially are repulsed by what Israel is doing right now. So if it's today's Zionism, my God, no way. So this is a second strand that is definitely important. And it's important because these are very influential. Miriam Adelson, who was the widow of Sheldon Adelson, a big casino magnate, definitely has influence. It's hundreds of millions of dollars given to Trump. And if there's one thing that Trump loves above anything else, it's money. It probably is his number one deep love, even more than hatred and other things. So she's definitely influential. He calls her out on occasions. Miriam, how am I doing? He's completely with his eye on the money. And there's other big money involved that own, they had to take over TikTok because TikTok was showing images from Gaza. And so Larry Ellison of Oracle, for his son, buys TikTok. Part of the lobby, for sure. Then there is the Christian lobby side. That's also not only a lot of votes, by the way, because it's maybe 30 to 40% of Trump's voter base, so it's not small. That evangelical Protestant Christian Zionism, but it's also money. These mega churches are big money. Hagee, who Yaakov mentioned, he raises money for Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz perhaps could care nothing about Israel, but he cares about Hagee. And Hagee finances him, and Ted Cruz puts influential people into the National Security Council and elsewhere that are basically, some are even dual citizens, literally Israeli citizens and U.S. citizens, handling the Mideast portfolio in the U.S. government. So the U.S. is a very porous politics. It's completely interest group, bold to the highest bidder. I'm sure if the Arab world got together and made an Arab lobby and put in 10 billion rather than 2 billion, they could probably buy a lot of U.S. politics. I'm not recommending this. I hate the American political system the way it is right now, but it is so hard to buy. I'll just end by one note. Our politicians are incredibly cheap, really are cheap. We're a $30 trillion economy. We are many trillions of dollars of GDP. We're a $1.5 trillion war machine. And yet 100 million is often enough to buy control over your preferred sector. So it's quite a bizarre operation. The American people are against all of this. They're against this war. They're siding with Palestine over Israel. But so far, money speaks louder.
Yeah, and if you put it like that, you get a good bang for your buck in the United States.
That's it.
Unfortunately. But Yaakov, if you want to react to that and maybe also give us your kind of guess of where Zionism as a political movement is going.
Zionism has been moving from Antash's left because it used to be very socialist, kibbutz and all that. Fascist right. This has nothing to do with the personalities involved. I think this is a very natural evolution of a political movement, which is based on discrimination, on ethnic nationalism. And here it's important to distinguish between ethnic nationalism and civic nationalism, because in the system of ethnic nationalism, just like in anti-Semitism, you cannot change your characteristics. Either you belong or you don't belong. Change it. And I would say that violence that we've observed in the Middle East, in West Asia for the last 80 years is largely connected with Zionism. Not entirely, but largely. You have to control the population that is naturally unhappy. You displace it, you exile it, you discriminate, you now submit it to genocide. They're not going to be happy. Of course, there will be resistance, but this resistance is not considered by Israel as legitimate and as logical in a way. But they try to dress it as anti-Semitism. I would say that if China had invaded Palestine, you would have exactly the same reaction. Or the Swiss decided to invade Palestine, you would have anti-Swiss sentiment. So I think that all of this has to be spelled out. And well, if I may, my other little book that Jeff referred to about.
Would you believe me if I told you this customer pays just $83 a month and put $0 down on their brand new heating system? Well, guys, thanks to our spring special, that's exact.
Jewish rejection of Zionism. You see, this is really important to understand that what is happening among Jews is also logical. Say, well, I don't have sociological data, but the higher the income of the Jew, the more Zionist he's likely to be. And that's why you have Adelsons and others. It may have nothing to do with their Jewishness, but there is another very important group that is part of the lobby. Arms manufacturers is very important both as a consumer and as a producer of arms. And there's very close connections between the American and Canadian, incidentally, arms producers and Israel. And these are very important parts of society because it's one of the wealthiest sectors of the economy.
Mm-hmm.
So the evolution of Zionism in the direction of fascism is perfectly predictable. And I would say that it certainly is not Bibi Netanyahu or Smotrich or Ben Gvir who also very much mentioned among those who say, well, how horrible these people are taking Israel in the wrong direction. I don't say so. I say that they represent, they embody that trend towards fascism, which had been there from the beginning.
And then maybe we have to be mindful of time. Jeff, if you want to take 2 minutes to give your kind of concluding thoughts, and then the final 2 minutes go to Yaakov.
Very briefly, this point that Yaakov made about the reaction of the Palestinians and the reaction of co-religionists in the Arab world was that resistance formed.
Greenery, what up, bro?
And basically since
my God.
1996,
We trying.
when Netanyahu first became prime minister, he brought along with his American advisors the Clean Break Doctrine. The Clean Break Doctrine says Greater Israel will control all of Palestine. There will never be a Palestinian state. Importantly, even that in response to resistance movements like Hamas or Hezbollah or others, Israel's response will be to overthrow the governments in the Middle East that support those resistance movements. That's Netanyahu's insight. Don't fight the resistance, fight the governments that back them. So Israel has been on a war spree since 1996. And Wesley Clark famously told us about the 7 wars that the U.S. would fight. These are basically U.S.-Israel wars. And that list included Libya and Somalia, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, and Iran. And here we are. We had several Iranian small wars. This is supposed to be the big one. So this is the logical effect also. You abuse your colonial settler, you push aside the local population, there's resistance, that resistance has its allies regionally, and you end up in regional war. And this is the disaster that we're in.
Very sad. Yaakov, please.
Well, I think it's important to distinguish between Zionism as a political movement, Jews and Judaism, which may be a religion or ethnic group, whichever way you want to put it, because this confusion really serves Israel and Zionism. Israeli leaders, whether they were socialists like Shimon Peres or Bibi Netanyahu or anyone else who would come later, will convince you that Israel represents the entire Jewish people. And for Israel, it's a source of legitimacy. Jews, it's a source of shame and insecurity. So it's very important to see that Israel not only hasn't brought security to the Jews, that's what Ernest Movement was promising. In fact, the most insecure place for a Jew to live today, I think, is Israel. But it also brings insecurity to Jews in Michigan or in California or in Montreal or wherever they live. Strangely enough, not Iran, because Jews there don't identify with Israel.
Yeah.
The anti-Zionist government
Hey,
of
good
Iran
afternoon,
knows
guys.
very well.
Listening to a
how
little bit of news. They're about to wrap this
distinguish
conversation
and
up.
Zionism. So, and you know, I've been to Iran. I even wrote about Jews in Iran. It's available on the internet. And I hope that they are not harmed by what Israel is doing to that country.
I think this is like a fundamental insight from all of your work, Yaakov. Judaism is a wonderful and peace-loving and wise religion, and Zionism is a highly problematic political movement of various kinds, including Christians and Jews, but going over and beyond that. So please, everybody, we ought to love the Jews and work on the Zionist issue, and never hate anyone in any case. Please, it only hurts. I would like to thank you both for these wonderful explanations. Jeffrey Sachs,
hate my heart.
thank you for your time today.
For a lot of dumb shit.
Thank you.
I
Great
hate
to be
dumb
with
shit.
you. Thanks.
You tell me not to hate nothing. I'm gonna hate something.
You're now going to be able to automate conversations when somebody follows you. Someone loves your content, so they hit follow and they get a message. Really, really simple, deceptively simple, but the amount of flexibility that you can have is basically infinite. What we always suggest doing is going beyond.
All the heavy hitters are weighing in.
This is Democracy Now! Democracy Now!
You're not going to listen anymore to that right at the moment, though. Democracy Now! I think I got my fair share of news for this afternoon. Everybody's still saying the same thing. You know, America and Israel kind of fucked up. Hey, y'all shouldn't have even started this shit. No, hey, you should have let sleeping dogs lie. Now, whatever happens, happens. Y'all done drag all us into this shit, man. We ain't asked for this shit. I want to vote for whoever gonna make everything more expensive and keep us in war. Nobody don't say that shit. Who the fuck thinks like that? I want the guy who's gonna make more war. Yeah, boy. Just starting to look like something, man. Look like a little something over here. What time we got? Oh, damn. We hit the hour mark. I'm going to go a little bit longer. Try to work around this mouth a little bit more. I need to darken this up some. Right here, the shadow goes down to this, into the fold of his cheek right here. Pull that down. Need some more deep red, kind of darken these smile lines a little bit. So I'm gonna put this here, bring that back nice and strong. Then it kind of tapers off and then it comes right back down here. Nice and strong again. But then we got a lot of hair. Let's see, white to brown first. Go this way. Skin tones made easy. Dark to light, people. Dark to light. Always start with a nice deep underpainting. Work your way through your mids. And then in the last phase, we're going to add to our details, get our lines sharp, and beef up our contrast by adding our highlights. See how different that highlight makes it look. And then if you do a little blending, a little smudgy. Now this line fades and it actually, so what I want to do is here, kind of lighten up on the other side of that smile line as well. Just a smidget. So when we blend, we're not going to lose too much. So here, lighten it up more than that. A little bit more. I want to see it. Let me see it. Okay. Doing something now. Doing something. Pull it out here a little more. And then it's gonna taper back down. We're gonna thin that line out a bunch. Add some orange to it, some orange. The deeper we get down in that shadow. So I'm gonna taper this line back down. Now we're gonna add that highlight on the other side of there. I'm gonna start out with some sienna and some orange again. Let's do this. Right. And pull this down and around. Watch that line there. Taper that a little more. Ain't gotta be straight, just gotta look straight. Now that we got that, we can go back in with some Naples yellow. And for our contrast, we're gonna add some of that here. Like that. And then we're gonna add a little bit there. All right, then we get our little blendy. I'll use this one. P, what it do? All right, I'm gonna blend down. That looks good. It's looking good. Keep steady. Don't fuck it up. Just keep going. You're doing a good job, man. Focus and don't fuck it. See? So take your time. Slow and steady. You might want to change your brush up. There you go. Change your brush. Going into the swirls now. Gotta swirl like a squirrel, you know what I'm saying? Swirl it like a squirrel. This motherfucker think he painting. Look at him. Look what he doing. He think he painting. This nigga think he doing something. But I tell you, motherfucker get quiet when you be concentrating. You can't even fucking talk. The brain clocking overdrive. You can't talk and paint? No, motherfucker. I can't walk and chew gum either, bitch. All right, there, boy. That looked like something. Shit, looking like something, boy. Check them out now. Look how you do that little blendy thing right there when you do like that. Look at that shit, man. Shit look like skin bone. Look like skin bone. Anybody been watching the news lately? Keeping up with this Iranian shit, man. I wrote a song about it. Y'all want to hear it? Here it go. Damn, if y'all don't want to hear it. If you don't want to hear it, you need to go ahead and click off my channel immediately. Just don't click off the channel now. If you don't want to hear me talk shit about Israel.
Trap House Entertainment.
That's me.
From the same parts, on the difference is we not cut from the same cloth. They try to lock us in the dark, lost like some cave up, but I'ma let the truth shine because I got a brave heart. We came from the same start and built from the same parts. On the difference is we not cut from the same cloth. They try to lock us in the dark, lost like some cave up, but I'ma let the truth shine because I got a brave heart. Been talking about this shit for years because I got a brave heart. Our government is run by psychopaths and they got insane thoughts. Global domination, but the world's about to change course. Now we strike back and hit the bully with the same force. We hold the barrels that cause terror and warmonger. More damage, more death, more bombs, more hunger, war crimes, genocide, taking lives, and they plunder IDF and the Iron Dome. Got me feel the thunder screams from a tomahawk. How much the Holocaust is not considered a loss? If it came from the Babylonian or the under y'all, always never underdog, operating under law. Let me check my battle losses. 1947, every night and outrageous, but the Bible pages say they are the synagogue of Satan. Their way running out of patience with the leaders of the nation, so we better cut ties before our greatness is forsaken. Left feet on red, left feet on red, left feet on red, left feet on red.
All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up right there. I'm gonna take a little bathroom break, come back and clean these brushes out, and I will be doing a reading of the lyrics for our new song, which is entitled Brave Heart. Let me get to the stopping point. I'm gonna feather this out right here. Damn, did I do that? Damn it. Let me just add a little more because I'm not going to be satisfied until that looks like I want it to look. Add a little more red just right at the end of this curve right here. We'll come back and do that dark side, this dark shadow. We'll do that next time and work on that shadow. But if we get this shadow squared away, I think it'd be okay for us to leave it like that. Cut it off right there. All right, that don't look too bad, not too shabby, and I'm saying that myself. You know, hey, that don't look too shabby, if I say so myself, and I just did. I'd like to reiterate. You know, this is a masterful technique here that I'm applying. Hope everybody's picking up all the jewels I'm putting down. Hope you're picking up what I'm putting down. All right, guys, bathroom break, and I'll be right back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Probably not that fast, but you know what I'm saying.
Trap House Entertainment. call them Sire, they ain't nothing to it. My blood sucking vampires got us in a quagmire. Maritime land pirate tired of the sand tire. Getting tight like they ain't trying to spread the news through the wire. Pedal pizza party, and we know who the buyers. Epstein and Jacob Island, the files just keep piling. They need them to be silent for carrots that keep smiling. They leaking it like a fountain. Evidence like a mountain. Hit dogs start howling. The truth keep it 1,000. Corruption is astounding, and it seems that we're surrounded by homicidal maniacs, all drunk on power. Elitist guy was walking the scent to the final hours. I've been taking notes ever since. Ain't I down the tower? We came from the same start and built from the same parts. On the difference is we not cut from the same cloth. They try to lock us in the dark, lost like some cave up, but I'ma let the truth shine because I got a brave heart. We came from the same start and built from the same parts. On the difference is we not cut from the same cloth. They try to lock us in the dark, lost like some cave up, but I'ma let the truth shine because I got a brave heart. Been talking about this shit for years because I got a brave heart. Our government is run by psychopaths and they got insane thoughts. Global domination, but the world's about to change course. Now we strike back and hit the bully with the same force. Behold the pale horse that cause terror and warmonger. More damage, more death, more bombs, more hunger, war crimes, genocide, taking lives, and they gun the IDF and the Iron Dome. About to feel the thunder scream from a tomahawk. How much does a Holocaust is not considered a loss? If it came from the Bostonian or the under y'all, always never underdog, operating under law. Let me check my battle losses. 1947, they've been acting outrageous, but the Bible pages say they are the synagogue of Satan. And we're running out of patience with the leaders of the nation, so we better cut ties before our greatness is forsaken. Let's get on red. Let's get on red. Let's get on red. What did I put my phone at? Oh, I think I left her in. Trap House Entertainment. Yo, I appreciate everybody coming in the studio to hang out with me this afternoon on this fabulous hump day, Wednesday hump day. You know what I'm saying? Halfway through it, guys. Tomorrow is Friday Eve. You know what I'm saying? Tomorrow, Friday Eve, and you be right around the corner from the weekend again. Damn, I can't wait for the weekend to get here. So I can sit my ass down and do nothing. I got a bunch of snacks I need to eat. You know what I'm saying? This weekend, it's going to be a chill weekend. All right. Get these brushes nice and clean. Then we'll run through the lyrics from our latest song and worked on that song for about 2 days. Sometimes I can write some bullshit raps in like an hour or so. Yeah, some of my raps, just a couple hours, I'll be done just saying some boobity 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 boo blah. And that shit don't really make no sense half the time. It's just words that rhyme. But with this last song, I actually thought about it. I try to make it coherent and make sense and have a message and a meaning and rhyme all at the same time. That's harder than you think it is, people. I ain't even gonna lie. And I ain't the best at it. So I fucking struggled. I struggled with this song. Trying to get this shit out, man. My girls that it took me 2 days to write it. And so I was almost done the first day. And then the next morning, my girl said, dude, you barely fucking slept last night. You okay? You was tossing and turning all night. What's wrong?
Like, man, I had them fucking bars in my head. I could not sleep. I swear to God, you're trying to get this song done. That night, I barely slept, just thinking like, what's the next fucking rhyme? What's the next word? What's the next part of the topic that I can expound upon? And no, I was restless until I finished getting all the words out. But then after I wrote it, I slept like a baby that night. Slept like a baby. Slept like a fucking infant, sucking on his mama's teeth. Amazing, we back. All right, we're gonna do a reading of the lyrics for our new song. Thank you for everybody in attendance. You could be anywhere doing anything with your time right now. Time is the most expensive currency we spend because we cannot get it back. And you guys have taken it upon yourselves to spend time with me. I find that absolutely amazing, and I appreciate everyone who just pops in, even if it's for a minute. All right. Thanks everybody in attendance. I'm your host, Travis Prince, and welcome to another episode of A Reading of the Lyrics. Today we will be reading our latest song, Residual Cost. Today we'll be reading over our latest song entitled Brave Heart. Excuse me. This song starts off with a pre-chorus that says, let freedom ring, let freedom ring, let freedom ring, let freedom ring. Then we jump right into our verse. Man, the evil empire keep pushing sins higher, 'cause the leaders all liars. To appeal to their desires, they'll set the world on fire. Now the situation's dire. I'll never call them sire. They ain't nothing to admire. Blood-sucking vampires got us in a quagmire. Maritime land pirates, tired of the satire. Getting tight like angina, spread the news through the wire. Pedo pizza party, and we know who the buyers. Epstein and Jekyll Island, the files just keep piling. They need them to be silent. For the cameras, they keep smiling. They leaking it like a fountain, evidence like a mountain. Hit dogs start howling. The truth, keep it 1,000. Corruption is astounding. And it seems that we're surrounded by homicidal maniacs, all drunk on power, elitist cowards, walking us into the final hours. I've been taking notes ever since they knocked down the towers. Then we have a hook, which is, we came from the same start and built from the same parts. Only different is we not cut from the same cloth. They try to lock us in the dark, lost like some cave art. But I'ma let the truth shine because I got a brave heart. The song continues with the second verse, which is as follows. Been talking about this shit for years because I got a brave heart. Our government is run by psychopaths and they got insane thoughts. Global domination, but the world's about to change course. Now we strike back and hit the bully with the same force. Behold the pale horse. They cause terror and warmonger. More damage, more death more bombs, more hunger, war crimes, genocide taking lives, and they plunder. IDF and the Iron Dome about to feel the thunder. Screams from a tomahawk. How much does a Holocaust? It's not considered a loss if it came from the boss. The Goyim are not under y'all, always love a underdog, operating under law. Let me check my battle log. Since 1947, they've been acting outrageous, but the Bible pages say they are the synagogue of Satan, and we're running out of patience with the leaders of the nation. So we better cut ties before our greatness is forsaken. The song concludes once again with the chorus, which says, let freedom reign, let freedom reign, let freedom reign, let freedom reign. Thank you. This has been a reading of the lyrics, and I have been your host, Travis Prince. Thanks for all in attendance, and we'll see you in the next one. Now, for everybody entertainment, we will let the song play through one time.
Trap House Entertainment. Higher cause the leaders all liars to appeal to their desires. They'll set the world on fire. Now the situation dire. I'll never call them sire. They ain't nothing to admire. Blood sucking vampires. Gotta send a quagmire. Maritime land pirates tired of the satire. Getting tight like they ain't trying to spread the news through the wire. Pedo pizza party. And we know who the buyers. Epstein and Jekyll Island. The files just keep piling. They need them to be silent. For carrots they keep smiling. They leaking it like a fountain. Evidence like a mountain. Hit dogs start howling. The truth keep it 1,000. Corruption is astounding. And it seems that we're surrounded by homicidal maniacs. All drunk on power. Elitist guy was walking the city to the final hours. I've been taking notes ever since. Ain't knocked down the tower. We came from the same start and built from the same parts. Only difference is we not cut from the same cloth. They try to lock us in the dark, lost like some cave up, but I'ma let the truth shine because I got a brave heart. We came from the same start and built from the same parts. Only difference is we not cut from the same cloth. They try to lock us in the dark, lost like some cave up, but I'ma let the truth shine because I got a brave heart. Been talking about this shit for years because I got a brave heart. Our government is run by psychopaths and they got insane thoughts. Global domination, but the world's about to change course. Now we strike back and hit the bully with the same force. Behold the pale horse that cause terror and warmonger. More damage, more death, more bombs, more hunger, war crimes, genocide taking lives, and they plunder IDF and the Iron Dome about to feel the thunder. Screams from a tomahawk. How much does a Holocaust is not considered a loss? If it came from the boss, the Goyim on the under y'all. Always never underdog, operating under law. Let me check my battle losses. 1947, they've been acting outrageous with the Bible pages. Say they are the synagogue of Satan. And we're running out of patience with the leaders of the nation. So we better cut ties before our greatness is forsaken. Let freedom reign. Let freedom reign. Let freedom reign. Hey, hey, let freedom reign. Let freedom reign.
All right, that's enough of that. Oh, I told you I was gonna make a video for this shit. Y'all thought I was playing. It's a bullshit clip video, but it's still gonna be something. It's still gonna be something. It ain't gonna be nothing. It'll be a bullshit clip video, but the song is good, so I ain't even stressing it. Hey, try to hit them emotions in there. Get them emotions in there. Hopefully I'll be able to finish that video by the weekend too, guys. I be doing stuff. I be working on stuff. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate the encouragement and motivation every time. I hope everyone has a wonderful evening, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace. We're out of here.